don't let me cry before we even started.
We're going to be fine. It's all right, guys, we're fine. We're just having a moment. Hi, producer. Melanie C, I was laughing out there because you are our first guest to walk around the corner. I was like that. Melanie from the block. She's still one of us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Walking to work.
I actually, there's something great about walking in London though, right? Because I think you can forget when you live here, it can be really overwhelming as a city. But if you just get on foot, because I think being in cars drives you nuts. If you're on foot, you really see the beauty and the splendour of the place.
And also, I think it really helps me with bearings.
Yeah,
you know, when you're following a map and all you see is the little square of where you're at, you never actually can see where you are in the big picture.
Yeah, I think it makes you feel like you're part of something bigger as well. Do you know, God, we got deep very early, haven't we? But it's just nice to be... Right, okay, so let me put some relevance on how this conversation's gone a little bit weird straight away. Obviously, there's been times in my life when I've been quite isolated from the world, from the real world. And I think even now, I have kind of integrated myself back into normality, is what I used to explain that. Yeah,
you'd call it like
post the
real
Spice
world,
Girl, Spice
like
Mania. Yeah, that I think there's still an element of I take like so much kind of what's the word? I just feel like excited by being in the real world.
Do you know the word that came to my mind? Wonder.
Yeah.
You know, when you walk round, like a child's first visit to Disney, and you're like that, like
people,
because you couldn't do that.
We couldn't do it, and it was obviously it was a whole new world of excitement. And, you know, a whole new world of wonder. But I think once you realise all the normality, everything you've grown up with the whole rest of your life, your childhood and everything you wanted to escape because you wanted to be famous and on a pedestal and, you know, recognised in the street and all of those things, you crave what you've lost, you know?
Tell me the kind of things that you would crave at the height of your fame, you just couldn't do.
Yeah, just walking down the street without getting bothered. You know, and it's a little bit unfair to say bothered because I've never had a bad experience. People are lovely. The general public have always been like so kind and so complimentary on everything I've ever done. I've never had a negative experience. But you just miss the anonymity, which is a very hard word to say. So I'm impressed with myself that I got it.
I'm not going to say it. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
You. And I think it's that word normal things, those words, you know, like just the normal things, like going to the pub for a drink or enjoying the Christmas lights somewhere or going to the launch of something. I mean, even say going to something like the cinema would be quite difficult and all the lights are out. But if somebody gets wind that you're in there, I suppose at the height of the Spice Girls, you'd be in trouble. Was it that thing of if you let one person have a selfie in the street, then that would be it? You'd be there for...
Yeah. I remember once, I think I was shopping with my mum and I think my nan was alive at the time as well. And we were just having our little shop. I think we were in Marks and Spencer's. And a couple of people stopped, and it was more autographs then. It was kind of that long ago. We didn't have cameras on our phones. And I think I had head down, signing a couple of things. And by the time I looked up, like a crowd had gathered. And I think as well, you feel very protective over the people that you're with.
Of course.
So yeah, moments like that can be a little bit, although everyone's lovely, you just feel like, oh goodness, this is like a bit hectic.
I think the other pressure with that is that you are a nice person. I was talking earlier about you and about your intention. I think intention with people is everything. So somebody could be lovely to you, but if their intention isn't good, you can kind of feel it and something feels off.
Yeah.
There is something about your intention that you have shown us over 30 years, that we have got to know you very well.
Yeah.
So that if I was to see you and I didn't know you, and I do know you, I'm lucky enough to know you a bit, in the street, and you said no to a selfie, I'd go, oh, well, that's sad, but I know that wasn't Melanie C's wish. It's that she couldn't.
Do you know,
I know your intention.
I am terrible at saying no.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
bet.
my worst thing. It's like sometimes people around me will say you're too nice.
Yes.
But I think I've always had that thing as well, because, you know, I do come from a very normal, word of the day background. I'm from a working class background. You know, I've worked really hard for everything that I've achieved. And my parents taught me that because they had to work bloody hard, sometimes just to put food on the table. So I don't take anything for granted. But the other thing is, and I really thank my mum for this as well, everybody is the same. You know, nobody's better than you, but you're not better than anybody else. I think that's quite a northern thing as well. And that just runs deep in me. And I feel like I never want to, I never want to be rude or mean, or even if I'm in a bad mood, I don't want to not. I'm also a people pleaser. So it's trying to find the balance within that, you know. But yeah, you're so right. I hate hurting people's feelings.
But we know that
ugh.
about you.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to know
Good.
that.
Thank you.
That I think that is very clear for everyone to see, that if you can't do something, your intentions are always good.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
You've
I
worked hard to...
I pride myself on that.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? Often, you know, talking in it, because we talk so much, don't we? All this bloody talking. me. Anyway, more about me. So, I remember in the band, I was often like the nice one. And you know, when you go, oh, nice is so boring. I wanted to be the loud one, you know, the extrovert, all these things. And then I've realised, actually, being nice is a superpower.
It really is.
Isn't it?
Yes.
It's not boring or bland at all.
But I think, you know, and I want to touch on this a bit later, but getting older, that's the gift.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things about yourself that you criticised.
Yes. Just trying to change. Just trying to change who you are, when who you are is amazing.
Yeah. I do want to go back, because I think your entrance into the Spice Girls was so brilliantly sliding doors. I'm going to tell you a little story. I'd been on MTV. I wasn't on terrestrial television, and I got one screen test for a job called God's Gift. It's a dating show on in the middle of the night. My granny thought it was a religious program, but it definitely wasn't. And they made me do stand-up in a comedy club in front of an actual audience, and the comedian got the job. But 2 weeks later, a bit like you, I got a call, and she couldn't ad-lib, and I got the job instead.
Oh, wow.
Sliding doors.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
So-
totally, it's
so-
what to me.
You found a flyer,
Yeah.
and you'd been dancing.
Mhm.
So tell me, how did you find the flyer, and where was it?
So I was auditioning. So I left home at 16. I moved from the north down to a fantastic performing arts college in Kent.
Can I quickly ask you something about that? Because when I read that, where were you staying? Who were you staying with?
So we stayed in digs. So
Oh,
we were
okay.
with a family like when we were young, until we were 18. Although I ended up in a flat when I was 17. Well, that's another story. So yeah, we went down with a family. In fact, there was 7 students in this house with this family. It was chaos. I mean, goodness only knows how they coped with it. Can you imagine? Like 7 16-year-old girls. It was insane.
Quite fun, though.
So fun.
Yeah.
So fun. Still all my friends to this day.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, some people I haven't spoken to for a while, but some are like, we stay in touch all year round, see each other when we can. Yeah. So those were very special days. But my daughter's 16, and the thought of her going off and doing her thing, and I've got a tracker on my phone. I know where she is 24/7. Like, we didn't have mobile phones. I spoke to my mum probably once a week on a payphone.
It is mad,
It's
isn't it?
wild. My mum's got letters I wrote home. I mean, that's the funny thing, isn't it? When you speak to your kids and they're like, Mum, you're old. And you're like, yeah, I'm actually really proud now of my age. And when people say to me, can you believe the Spice Girls was 30 years ago? I'm like, yeah, I actually can. Yeah.
what? Oh, there's so much I want to like unpick everything, but I want to go back to the story
Yes.
and finish that because this is so interesting. So you'd left home, you're 16, 17, you are basically away from everybody you know and love. You are doing the thing you love, you're performing arts school.
Yeah.
But is the flyer at the performing arts school? No.
So I was auditioning, so I'd left. 3 years later, I'm 19, I'm out auditioning for
Right,
West
yeah.
End shows
Yeah.
and anything. You know, you get to that point, there are so many incredible performers. I was hoping to get a West End show, but my burning passion was music. I always wanted to be a singer. My mum's actually a singer.
Yes.
And both my mum and my stepdad had been in bands and had deals way back in the 70s, but things hadn't worked out. So I knew it was hard.
But but you hadn't really sung at that point. You were mostly dancing?
I was mostly
Yeah.
dancing, a little bit of acting, and we were having singing lessons, but it was very musical theatre based. Which
Okay.
makes me think about Victoria because she was at a rival college. So we were doing a very similar thing. Like our training was very similar because there's people who've seen Raw Spice and the old stuff. So she went along to the audition and she sang Mine Hair from Cabaret.
Yes.
But it was like an audition for a pop group. It's so funny. And she talks about it in her new documentary, which is, you know, she really pokes fun at herself, which she always has done. But that just sprang into my mind. But I actually went along. So I was at an audition. I was with my friend, one of the friends I lived with all through college. And I was handed a flyer and it said, "Are you 16 to 24? Are you know, can you sing, dance? Are you streetwise, all these things?" And I was like, that's it. I remember it. I remember sitting in the cafe. I think it was at Dance Works, one of the lovely dance studios in London. I was like, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. And that did go on to become the Spice Girls, but there was a few twists and turns before that happened.
What I thought was interesting was that you talked about having a little bit of a knowing. Talk me
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah, it's always hard with these things, isn't it? I think probably when I met the other girls, that's what pulled us together because we all had this belief. We were very single-minded. And yeah, I felt like I knew. I felt like I knew what my destiny
Yes.
was. I don't know whether that is the truth or having that self-belief kind of makes it happen.
I think it's a bit of both, right? That's got to be a
Absolutely.
catch-22 thing. One feeds the other and so the circle goes on. If you don't have belief in yourself, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's never going to happen if you don't have belief in yourself. It's sort of,
Yeah.
it feeds each other. So you went to the audition, but there were a lot of girls out. What was that like?
There? Well, to me, it was just another audition. When you grow up dancing, performing, doing competitions, so many exams, that's something I've thought about recently. You know, young girls who are growing up, whether it's dancing or playing piano, like all of these skills that we learn from childhood, you are under pressure from a really young age. And yeah, so an audition, it's just another audition. Obviously, this one meant a lot to me, but I think you're quite resilient because as a performer, there are so many knockbacks.
Good, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, again, I think as parents, you know, as a parent of a mother, I mean, as the mother of a daughter, you know how protective we all are to try and kind of shelter them from, but actually the knockbacks are the things that make you.
Yeah. I mean, I've had that experience quite recently with my daughter because you do everything within your power to make sure they're happy.
Yeah.
They've got what they want. But actually, yeah, you need disappointment. It's a very important part of development, isn't it? I think. But then as a performer, that's something it's just like, yeah, it's inbuilt. It's water off a duck's back.
You were armed when you went to this audition with all your previous knockbacks, setbacks, and so you hadn't put too much pressure on yourself, which would have been helpful in some way, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think having that, in the back of your mind, there'll always be another opportunity. I think, and I'm a very optimistic person as well. You know, there's been times when I haven't felt like that, but I think naturally that's who I am. So yeah, I danced, and obviously very superficially, the people who danced and looked the part were asked back to sing, and that's when I sang "I'm So Excited," Pointer Sisters.
Great song as well.
Great song, and one of the reasons I sang that is because I needed sheet music, and a little bit like Victoria, I'd only been armed with musical theatre repertoire. So I was like, Mum, what sheet music have you got? So I think she probably posted it to me. So this must have been 1994 when this all went down. And and that was one of the songs. I was like, yeah, it's in my key. It's all good. I know it. That's the one.
And what were you wearing? Was it like sporty gear? Or was it... Oh, okay.
I was dressed up.
It's going to be good.
This was my being dressed up. No, it's just because I can see it in my mind. So I had a bob. I think I was I had like some kind of... I was really into like dyeing my hair red. You know, that kind of henna vibes?
Yes,
I had that going on. And this must have been so clashy as well. Then I had this lilac kind of cropped knitted top. And I thought it was just the best thing ever. I think it was from a shop called
cropped lilac knitted top sounds good.
It sounds good, doesn't it? I'm not sure with the hennaed hair though.
No, but can I just say, I think the henna colour, like we're talking burgundy type, right? Reddy orangey.
Yeah.
With lilac, good.
Yeah, you think that's good?
And I also think orange, red, pink, altogether good.
Yeah.
So
I think
you're talking to the wrong person.
Rules.
I think it's
no rules.
No rules.
Yeah. But I was feeling it on the day. I was feeling myself.
Good.
I think if I might have had jeans on, I might have borrowed somebody's jeans.
Did you not own any?
I don't think I did. Do you know what's so funny? Because I was, I went to the Dorchester recently because I was getting ready for an event.
Yeah.
And they very kindly gave me a room there. And as I walked in, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't think I've been in here since I was 18. And again, a friend of mine was 18 and her mum, as a treat, took us to the Dorchester for dinner. But I had no fancy clothes, so I borrowed my friend's jumper. And it was like, I think it was a bit bobbly as well, but it was the smartest thing we could muster up between us. But at that age, do you remember? I mean, it's so different now.
Great?
I know.
These memories
are
so precious and important to remember, I think. I think what I really like about you, you've always kept a handle. You said at the beginning, I've come from a working class family and I will never forget where I've come from and how grateful I am to be here. And that's so nice to hear, but it's also so obvious about you.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's really important just to have that grounding because...
Totally.
My goodness, when I do sit down and think about all the things that I've done, I can see how people go a little bit squiffy, because it's some of the environments you find yourself in. It's incredible, ridiculous.
Pinch yourself moments.
Yeah.
So you've worn an outfit, you're feeling quite good in it.
Yeah.
You do you get asked back to sing.
Yeah.
You sing, and then how do they give you the news and how long did you have to wait?
So I think, I'm a little bit sketchy on all the...
But did it happen quickly?
I feel like it wasn't too long. I think it was maybe a few days.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I don't... This is so funny, isn't it, how our brains change so quickly? Because it's like, there's no email. I think it was a phone call. It was like that old thing, isn't it? Don't call us, we'll call you.
Yeah.
And I got the call, but at the time, I kept getting tonsillitis.
Yes.
My
daughter's had that.
Oh, it's hideous.
Yeah.
And it's so
painful.
debilitating, so painful.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten how painful it was. Then I had it again a few years ago. So you can get tonsillitis when you have no tonsils. Did you know that?
No, I did not. Have you had yours taken out? Oh, my daughter's never done it. Now it's kind of too late.
Yeah. So we keep going off.
Yeah, sorry.
It's fine. Anyway, we'll talk about the tonsillitis. So I was really ill and I could barely get out of bed. I couldn't speak, let alone sing. But I spoke to my mum because they'd called to say you've got a recall. And I was like, please just beg them to give me like a week. In a week's time, I'll be better. I'll be able to do it. And they were like, no, sorry.
And you were
already
so close.
So close.
You must have been...
Devastated. And when you're ill as well. And my mum's up north. I'm in London in my rented flat
alone.
with all my mates. I'm like, yeah, I need me mum.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was what happened. And then, okay, pick yourself up, carry on.
Like that? Could you do that?
Yeah, well, you have to.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you have to. But of course, I didn't know what it was going to go on to be, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So at this point, it's like a girl band. It's like, how many work?
Yes.
So, okay, that wasn't meant to be, moving on. But then 2 weeks later, I got another phone call from the management saying, one of the girls didn't work out. Could you come back and sing for us?
Now, can we just hear, Melanie, hold hands and just say a little prayer for the lady?
Oh, I know. I know.
Can you imagine
Oh my gosh. But there was a few lineup changes. So there was a couple of girls that got even closer than I had at that point. I know. Yeah. That's hard, isn't it? Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
To go through your whole life
Yeah.
having nearly been a Spice Girl. Wow.
Yeah.
Because you didn't think you were. You didn't
feel
know
like
who they
guilty
were going to become. No, but that's life.
Yeah.
And actually it's, I mean, talk about beginning again. In terms of satisfaction of your life and living a life you'll love, you've got to let go
Yeah.
of everything that
Oh gosh, absolutely.
doesn't matter for you.
Yeah.
Or you will be miserable. It's a let them thing.
Yeah.
Mel Robbins.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's so hard. And you know what? It's so interesting to do that because obviously we're so caught up in our own thing. I hadn't really given that much thought to the girl that I replaced because I went on to know the girl that Emma replaced. So I have more empathy for her because I knew her, you know. But yeah, goodness me. I hadn't even thought about that.
It's quite mad, isn't it?
It is.
But you were there thinking, I haven't got it. Oh well, pick myself up, dust myself off, start again, begin again. And you got the call.
Yeah, I got that call. And it was also kind of bizarre. It was like, oh, come down to the studio. And I didn't know what was expected of me. I knew I had to sing a song, so I prepared a song. And I met a girl called Jerry. I met a girl called Mel B. Melanie at the time, another Melanie. A girl called Victoria and a girl called Michelle. I went into the room. The management were there. I sang, signed, sealed, delivered. Stevie Wonder, one of my favourites. And that was it.
And did they tell you there and then?
Oh, well, no one said anything. It was just like, it just was. And I was really confused.
But you didn't want to say anything in case they went, no, we've changed our mind. So you just go along with it.
Yeah. So that was really, really weird. And then I remember getting the tube back with Mel B and just being like, oh my God, she's so cool.
Oh, you were like judging yourself against Mel B.
Yeah, but it was I think obviously because so much has gone on now and I know them probably too well.
But you were nervous because you were new and, oh God, I'm not as cool as her and how am I going to...
But I know I loved her. I was like, I just found I wanted to be in her presence. Yeah. This is the thing about Melanie. It's like you're kind of fascinated with her. Her energy is like so frenetic. You're like, I just want to be... But everyone had...
And Mel B has got this kind of confidence thing that is terrifying, you know, isn't it? It's like just being with her, you're just like, oh my God, she can say anything to anyone.
Oh.
And because I met you guys unsigned, I think, or maybe just newly signed on a train.
Yeah.
I was new, you were new. We just met on a train and we realised we were all going to the same place, to Granada Studios, and we talked all the way to Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking that about Mel B then.
Yeah.
Just like, wow, she is a powerhouse of confidence.
I'd never met anybody like Mel because she says whatever she wants.
Yeah.
But the other thing is she doesn't just say what she wants. She loves to shock people.
Yes.
So she's not afraid to say, you know, what's incredible about Melanie is if she's in your corner,
yes,
you are fine. You are absolutely fine. Sometimes when she said things, it's so funny. There's this whole thing about the Spice Girls where at the time, like, because Melanie and Jerry like really bounce off each other. They were both quite outspoken. So they go in and can cause all the chaos. And then me, Victoria and Emma be behind going, sorry, like tidying up papers and things.
But that's why it worked, because if it had been 5 chaotic women, it would have been too much.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was a really good mixture, and I guess living together, because you all live together, that was probably quite a good mix.
Yeah.
How was it living together?
Do you know what? It was actually, you're so right. It was a really good dynamic. So the management put us in a house together in Maidenhead. So just to clear up the little in between. So when I joined the band, there was a girl called Michelle, and she was kind of like, I'm not sure, I might go to uni or I might pursue the music career. But the other 4 of us were like, that just doesn't cut it, because, you know, myself, Victoria, Melanie and Jerry, we were so committed. So obviously there was just a little bit of friction there. So quite quickly, our singing teacher at the time introduced us to Emma. And the minute we met Emma, because at that point we were excited, we had this opportunity, but, you know, whatever, it was going to work, it wasn't going to work, it was going to be what it was going to be. When Emma came into the picture, it was like...
Bang.
Yeah. It was like, I mean, I get goosebumps, and
I just got goosebumps you saying that.
It's wild. Like, and I can still so vividly see this thing, right? So we picked her up at Maidenhead Station, and like Jerry used to drive us around in a battered Fiat Uno, and it was battered because Jerry was always doing a lippy or chatting and crashing into things. So we're all like sitting there, and poor Emma's in the middle. And she recalls it as well, because she could just see Jerry like checking her out. And like, you know, Emma had, you know, little bunches. I think she had little ones up here, little bunches. She had like, little dungarees on. She was so cute, like a little backpack. And this dynamic just like gelled, and it was so sparky. And from that day, we were like, we've got something really special.
Yes.
We hadn't even made any music at this point.
Yes.
We were singing other people's songs. You know, we were working on choreo together. We hadn't figured out how we were going to dress, but it was just this energy between us. And what I love is it's still the same. You know, it's quite rare that you get 5 Spice Girls in one room at one time, but it hasn't changed. That magic and that spark is still there.
My feeling or my take on that is because you are still the people you were. Like you it's a bit like when you see somebody from school.
Yeah.
And you go, oh my God, you look exactly the same. And obviously we don't.
Yeah.
But you look exactly the same because your soul is still there. And that thing that brought you together then is still going to bring
it's
you to...
never going to change.
Yeah, it's not going to change ever.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And when we did some stadium shows in 2019, and we were in rehearsals, and, you know, sadly Victoria wasn't with us on those shows, but the 4 of us, we were in rehearsals. Mel B's in leopard print. I'm in a trackie, you know, Emma's got our bunches in, and we're just like, we are ridiculous. And I know that's just the way that we dress, but just everything about us is the thing. Yeah. You know, we are... Mel B is scary. You've met her.
Oh, no, yeah.
Scary,
terrifying,
right? Yeah. In the best way. And Emma is our baby.
Yeah.
But it's just what those nicknames came to represent was so much about our personality, and we are totally still those people.
What is hilarious is that I told quite a few people, because I didn't realise this until I found out. I sort of did a deep dive into you, is that I thought that kind of you guys were found to fit the names, but that wasn't the case. Will you tell the story about how you all became those nicknames?
Well, when we first were together with our original management, we were trying to figure out who we were as a band, and we were singing other people's material, but we were a bit frustrated. The songs were a bit shit, you know. They were written by middle-aged men. It was like, you know, we knew we had something, we wanted to express. So, but we'd never written a song, like, you know, not professionally. And we were together in a rehearsal space, and we were trying to find what worked for us as a band. And a lot of female bands before us, or girl groups, had been, you know, coordinated, had their outfit.
Yeah.
And
styled and put together.
Yeah. And we you know, we tried that. We tried the whole, like, we all wore like little dresses, and there's a picture of me that is on the internet, because every picture of us is on the internet, in Emma's dress, a little baby doll dress, and I looked so uncomfortable. And then we did a showcase, and we all wore jeans and little Adidas T-shirts, which we all look pretty cool, but someone always felt uncomfortable. But we were in rehearsals one day, looking in the mirror, and I remember Jerry saying, why don't we just dress the way that we do? So that was kind of the beginnings of us being more individual. And it wasn't like a big...
Not being a collective,
yeah,
but each being yourselves.
Yeah, so Emma was in a baby doll dress. You know, I was in a trackie, always in a trackie. Jerry was in something crazy she picked up in a charity shop, you know. So that was the day that began. And it just kind of all started to evolve from that moment. And then we found new management. We'd already written most of the first album. We'd made contact, and we'd met these fantastic songwriters and producers. Then we were looking for the new management, and then we signed with a new label. So fast forward, we're recording. We've got advances to make records and photo shoots and videos. This is all happening. And we start meeting media. And we had a lunch with Peter Lorraine, who at the time was the editor of Top of the Pops magazine. Yeah. And he said to us, you girls need nicknames. So, of course, we come up with all these like really disgusting ones that never would have been able to be made public. And then he went back to the office and on meeting us came up with the Spice Rack. And that was in the magazine and the names just stuck. And then we just became caricatures of the names. We loved it. We embraced it.
I mean, it was the greatest gift of all, because if somebody couldn't remember your name, it was a way of remembering you because of the way that you looked, either because you were sporty, or, you know, it was a really brilliant bit of marketing that you didn't even realise you wanted or needed, but it just came to you gift wrapped.
100%. Because there's 2 Melanies in the band. It's like, well, is somebody going to change their name? And we were like, no, we're not going to change our name. Mel B and Mel C. But then, of course, once the nicknames came in, that didn't matter at all.
Absolutely brilliant that was.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. And we've sort of slightly brushed over, but I think it was quite a massive thing changing management, because for you guys, I keep thinking, what, you're like 21 at this point, 20, 21?
Yeah, early 20s. I mean, Emma's a teenager at this point.
I feel like I remember doing a demo myself when I was 18, and I just didn't have a voice to say what I wanted, to say the direction I wanted it to take. You guys being given this opportunity by a management group and being put up for that long and, you know, given a house and kind of trying to be found songs for, and then going, actually, do you know what? We don't want to do that. We want to go and find somebody else who's going to get a move on.
Yeah.
It's brave.
Isn't it?
How did you do that?
Yeah. I think, again, because it was just that collective energy, the thing that we shared. And I think, you know, that is the dynamic in the band. I know, as a solo artist, if I'd started my career on my own, I would never have had the courage I did as a Spice Girl. You know, I'm so grateful to those girls. Yeah. And because we just had each other's backs. You know, you've got Melanie out there who will say what she thinks, doesn't care. You've got Jerry out there who will just like talk you into submission, you know, and then you've got me, Emma and Victoria apologising for it all. But it just worked.
But also I think you've got those two speaking their mind, but you coming up with the kind of calm interpretation of what they're saying. That's quite powerful.
Yeah.
I think that the other thing that is so remarkable about you guys is that you were completely different from anything we had ever seen. And you went to go and see 19 Management. Were they that when you went to see them? Who had they had before you? Like, why did you go there? What did Simon Fuller have?
Okay, so basically, before we left the original Management, because we were frustrated with them because they were telling us, you know, you're not ready, but we were young. We were impatient. We wanted to get on with it. And we just decided that actually we didn't feel like they were the right people for us. But we had no contact. None of us had worked in the music industry. We didn't know anything. But we knew if we had a showcase that we could make some contacts. So we encouraged the management team to introduce us to some songwriters and producers. That's what we wanted to do. But we already knew we were going to leave. Yeah, cheeky. So we did the showcase. And again, a little Spice Girls moment. This was the first time we'd performed in front of an audience. And it wasn't just an audience, it was an industry audience.
Yeah.
It was literally successful songwriters and producers. But we could feel their reaction. You know, and we were thinking,
could you really?
Yeah.
What was it like?
Yeah, but it's like I had this experience at college once, and it's as a performer it's that connection with a crowd. You know, a crowd. There was like 25 people in there, but it's when people go. You know, they might be doing in the watching whatever, but then people start to go. You know, and it was like, and we were like, fuck. So even because I'm very cautious as well, and sometimes the big scary decisions we've made as the Spice Girls. I think I've shocked Melanie and Jerry sometimes because I've been like, yes, right there with them because I am the cautious one. But this was one of those moments. This really reaffirmed to us that we had something special.
Yes.
So we got all of the information, like we got people's numbers and names and like labels and where they were from. And then we were arms then. And we did like this Scooby-Doo midnight flit. Have you ever heard me speak about this? It's so funny. So we packed up the house. We call it a midnight flip, but I think it was at 10 o'clock in the morning. But, you know, all for the drama. But we had to get the demo tapes. The songs are on cassette. We needed these tapes. So we had this whole master plan. And I can never remember exactly who was with who. But I know somebody, I think Victoria was a decoy. Yeah. Stealth. Yeah, honestly, it was so stealth. We went to the recording studio. I think Victoria was a decoy. Then Jerry got the tape. It went in a bra or a knickers. It was definitely underwear. Because it couldn't just go in a pocket. Because the Spice Girls, it had to be something ridiculous, okay? And then it was like, okay. And then she went off. And then I think I was in the car with Victoria. And we said to Jerry, we'll meet you on the roundabout. When we got to the roundabout, Jerry was literally on the roundabout. So literal. It was so ridiculous. So we went off and everything, it was such like hijinks, you know, everything we ever did was so silly. And we went off. But at this point, Melanie and Jerry didn't have anywhere to stay. I think they were actually staying. Melanie had a lovely boyfriend at the time. I think they went up to stay with him. Jerry was on the couch.
Wow.
I went back to Sidcup where one of my college friends was still living.
Wow.
Stayed with them. And Emma and Victoria, because their parents were quite close by.
Yes.
They went back to their parents. But yeah, we were all kind of, we had nothing.
But Simon Fuller at that point? Because you guys meeting him and him being such a mastermind of let's have a look at how big can we think. That's what I loved about what Simon Fuller did with groups and how he thought, because, you know, you released an album and then there was a blooming movie and a Spice World and he just went.
Yeah,
didn't he?
So we'd met the songwriters and producers, and we started going off, and there's so many Scooby-Doo moments. But we went off and started making the record.
Oh, okay. So that happened before.
Yeah. So we worked with Matt and Biff, who are the beautiful songwriters and producers. Wannabe, To Become One, Viva Forever. I mean, Spice Up Your Life. Yeah. So many biggies. So we're meeting different managers, but this one name keeps popping up.
Oh, really?
And we were like, okay, let's meet Simon Fuller. So I knew that he managed Annie Lennox. And Annie is one of my huge, Annie's Annie, right? Yeah. I've listened to Annie and Rhythmics like all through my childhood. So I was like, yeah, we've got to meet this guy. So we went to meet Simon. The album was pretty much demoed. I think we maybe had like 10 of the tracks. Yeah. And we were talking about wanting to do a movie and wanting to be, you know, all over the world. We wanted to be an international band.
Oh, wait. Sorry, wait.
Yes.
So that was your idea?
Yeah.
You wanted to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I was like that Simon had come to you with those ideas, but that was, you guys went to Simon with the worldwide takeover plan.
Yeah. Because that was...
Can I just...
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I know.
Well done.
Thank you.
God, sorry, do you know what's just come into my head?
Yes.
The word girl power.
Yeah. I mean,
it was real.
It was real. It was something that we embodied. You know, obviously we had a male manager who helped facilitate our dreams. But yeah, we turned up with most of the record written and the master plan for the world domination.
Plan.
Yeah.
That is mega.
Yeah.
Because no one else was doing that.
No. And how dare we? You know, when you look back, you're like, oh my God.
Girl power.
Who are you?
Yeah,
but that's the power we had.
Yes.
You know, the five of us.
It's so nice that you coined a movement for women, not just for your generation, but for generations gone by of women that had been like you, but we didn't have a...
Recognized.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did...
Wow. Well done.
Oh, I know. Isn't it amazing? It's like the legacy is like... Yeah, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing what we were able to do. You know, we were just having a laugh.
Thank you.
You know, I feel silly saying you well known, but I'm grateful too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm grateful that I was able to be part of the thing that helped that become so mainstream, you know, and accessible. Yeah, so accessible, you know, and accessible. Yeah, so accessible.
New Year's coming and you want to feel better. Sleep more, stress less, actually have some energy. Same.
Ooh, it's just,
hard to know where to begin and if you're doing any of it right. Hot yoga, getting your steps in, 100,000 cold plunges. Does that count? Meditation, biohacking. There's so much out there. And when you're already busy, how do you know where to start? So, this January on Begin Again, I'm going straight to the experts and I'm asking the questions we all want answered. We're cutting through the noise. What works, what doesn't, how to do it properly, and why it actually matters. So, hit subscribe and join us for Begin Again's Reset Month. New episodes every Thursday, plus bonus videos every Sunday. Let's start 2026 the right way together.
And so Simon was the guy that could
Yeah. He
and
was our
did
facilitator.
make that
Yeah.
happen
Yeah,
for you.
yeah, for sure. But there was, I mean, there's even silly stories along the way. Like our label weren't sure about Wannabe being the first single. And I don't even know how we had the power that we did. We were like, no, it has to be the first single because we knew it couldn't follow anything else. It was the introduction to who we were. That's how it was written. Like Matt and Biff, when we were working with them, they're like, go in there, just sing anything. They just wanted to capture this energy, this essence of us. And that's what Wannabe is. So it had to be the first single.
And funny now
Yeah.
to look back,
Yeah.
the idea
Mm-hmm.
of anything else being the first single would
Yeah.
be so alien.
But what we loved as well, because obviously a song like Wannabe, luckily, it captured people's imaginations. You know, it was an international hit. But we knew we had really good songs to follow it. You know, we had a really strong, that first album is super strong.
So strong.
Yeah.
The video. I really miss seeing music and videos together.
Me too.
MTV closing down for me, obviously personally, because I worked there. It was my first job. I'm so sad about that. But the idea that we've lost that thing of my kids watching music and videos, because it was so iconic, the Wannabe video. I mean, we know it like off by heart. Everybody does.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Mm. And funnily enough, there was talk about it being reshot.
What? Why?
I know, because I think was it too chaotic? I mean, there were certain countries in the world, right? There are certain countries in the world where it was an issue because it was quite cold, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
It was a bit nipply. So I think in some like quite reserved parts of the world, it was like, well, this.
But that's all part and parcel, isn't
it's
it?
just a
That
bit
we
too
were so
complex.
naughty that we, people are trying to reshoot. And that's a great bit of PR, isn't it, for you guys? Like the gift that
Isn't
keeps
it?
on giving.
Isn't it? But it was so. Do you know what I love? And sorry for people who've heard these stories a million times, but the Wannabe video, very much like Spice World the movie, it really was happening. That was what it was like being a Spice Girl.
Yeah.
So Wannabe was very much a take on us going round record companies, management companies, publishers, and going in. I remember going somewhere, me and Mel B on rollerblades. There was, all the places where there's a big conference table and I get up and do a backflip. And we used to go, we used to have our little boom box and we stick Wannabe on and we do it. But that was Wannabe really represents what we were doing.
I mean, so
Bonkers.
ace. And then the movie happened.
The movie
That was dream come true. And like, how soon did the movie happen? Like the next year or something?
So we released Wannabe, it was July 96 in Europe and I think in Asia. And then it came a bit later in the US. And then, so we did the whole promo of that, came back. We had our big Brits moment in 1997. And then we were actually, because we were working on the second album while we were shooting the movie. So we had like a mobile set on a mobile studio on set. Wow. So that was, intense.
Really intense. But, the other thing that I still can't quite believe is, to me, I think because it was such a huge part of our lives and you were omnipresent. You were everywhere. Everybody loved you. It was universal. That I felt like it went on for years. And I know lots of other people have said this to you. But I still can't kind of believe that it was 2 years from Wannabe to Jerry leaving,
Yeah.
it felt like much longer than that. It was a very intense 2 years for all of you.
Yeah.
But she left in the middle of the tour, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you see that coming?
No. It's hard, isn't it, with hindsight as well? Because obviously I can look back now, I can understand why she did it. But at the time, we were really shocked and really hurt. So we'd been out, obviously promoting, traveling around the world. We were on, second album was out, the movie was out, and it was time to tour. And the reason we'd waited that long to tour actually was because we needed the body of work. We needed 2 albums worth to be able to do a headline show. And we were touring, we had 2 shows left in Oslo, and we flew back. We were on a private jet in those
Like
days.
you do.
Yeah. And we were flying back to perform Viva Forever on the National Lottery. And it's you can find everything online, can't you? And people often make fun of me because I'm such a bad liar. And I had to tell a fib and say that Jerry wasn't well because she'd left that day.
Right.
So we'd flown back really late. I think it was maybe after a show. We had National Lottery the next day. And then like overnight, and then we got the phone call, Jerry's not coming back.
I quickly want you to explain, because at that time, like everything was different in terms of press and stories coming out and the impact that would have on you and everybody in life. You hadn't had time to process Jerry leaving. You couldn't go onto a show and tell the truth because the shit would hit the fan. You wouldn't be able to leave the building. You know, it was crazy for you guys then, right, with the press.
Yeah,
Could you just paint the kind of picture of how crazy it was?
Okay, so we were, we were told in no uncertain terms, anything we ever did, no matter how privately, the press would find out.
And it is true that.
It's true.
Because they were hacking your phone.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you would end up doubting people you knew and loved. You thought people were selling stories or you couldn't trust anybody.
We questioned each other, our families, our friends, each other's family, because it was, although we were in this bubble and we were traveling and touring and everything we were doing, we had lots of family around us and friends. We kind of kept everybody close. And then you start,
seeing stories and you think, how did they get that?
Do they know that? But we were, it was never really that much of a surprise to us because I remember and again, it's like movie stuff. We totally played this all out in the movie. Like you would see a bush rustle and you'd think there's a journalist in there. That's how crazy it was. Hotels, were the rooms bugged? We were led to believe you can't do anything. Now, how much of that was a control mechanism? I don't know. But it was also true. We now all know because that's all come to light.
I mean, long lens photos as well. I remember being on holiday somewhere and somebody taking a photograph from over a mile away. Like it was ridiculous how people can get pictures. You're never safe. Like you can't ever relax. That's exhausting in itself, right?
You felt like prey. That's what it was like on a daily basis. And so that was tough. So when there was something as big as this was huge. This is at the height of the Spice Girls success. Jerry leaves. We didn't believe it. We were like, oh,
she'll be back.
She'll be back. I think we were leaving a voicemail, which was great because that's what they were listening to, going, come on, you silly cow, come back. We know, we're listening. If whatever you need, just come back. But she didn't, she meant it. So that was really, really tough. But the other thing was we had 2 shows left in Europe, but then we had a 3-month tour of the US. Now we didn't even know whether we could fulfill the tour, whether they would take a tour of 4 of the Spice Girls, not 5. I mean, luckily they did. But at the time, what these things are like, there's so many legal, contractual things everywhere. So you've got the press prying and you're like, shit, what's going to go down?
It's quite funny for America is that on that tour, the Americans would never have seen Jerry with you guys live. So they only knew you as a 4-piece.
But it's such a shame.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing about the Spice Girls, and which is so sad, that Victoria didn't join us last time, is that it is about the 5. You know, because of course other bands have gone on to work with other band members really successfully. But with the Spice Girls, for me, it's like, oh, it's not quite the same.
It's interesting because, you know, other people have been replaced in other bands. You couldn't ever replace one of you.
No. Even though sometimes you want to.
Never.
But never.
You're all perfect.
Over my dead body. Oh,
I mean,
so-
I think that that's a very lovely thing, actually, that you there comes a point in your life, I think, where you know you're irreplaceable, and that's quite a nice feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I think, you know, as a young person, as a young woman, I think especially, obviously being the only experience that I've had at life, we do put ourselves down so much, and we never feel like we're enough in whatever capacity. And then you get to a point and you go, I'm more than enough.
I mean, I'd like to talk to you about that a bit, because that's a feeling I really relate to in you. That feeling, well, slight perfectionist, trying to do something where somebody will see you, like your family will see you.
Yeah.
See me, I'm here. What was that like, and where did it come from for you?
I truly believe a lot of my drive is from a really young age, having divorced parents. And yeah, I have a great relationship with both my mum and dad, always have had. But I think being an only child to them both was quite difficult growing up.
It's kind of lonely.
It is lonely because it's like you're the only one. Like I feel quite sad because my daughter is an only child. And I, you know, not to have regrets, but one of the things I do wish is that she had a sibling. You know, I think it is lovely to feel like, yeah, you have. I mean, a lot of siblings don't get on. You know, we can look at this romantically, can't we? A lot of people, they're just not, you know, just not meant to get along. But I felt a little bit alone in the world. And I think because my mum remarried and had another child, and then my dad remarried and had another two, then I just sometimes felt like I was a bit in the way. You know, which is, and I know both my mum and dad find that upsetting.
Yes.
But these are the thoughts of a child.
I used to feel like that. I totally get you, and I'm pretty sure there'll be lots of people watching who had felt like that. And because, oh look, they've moved on.
Yeah.
And they've got to a really happy
It's
place.
like you're a burden.
And they've
I'm a
had
burden
that. They've
now.
had
If I
another
wasn't
love.
here, it would make everyone's life so much easier.
But now, you know that's not true. But at the time, it would have had a big impact on you.
It really did. It really did. I think it made me very determined to succeed, you know, to find my place in the world, to show them that I was worthy of being alive. You know, it sounds all very melodramatic, but the thoughts of a young person, you know, as you're developing and growing, this is what makes us. And, you know, I don't have any bitterness or resentment towards anybody. I'm very grateful for who I am.
That's your drive.
Yeah.
It's your energy. I mean, it's what made you you. I mean, I'd really like to talk to you about when you discovered dancing and what that gave you.
Do you know, I did. I was in dance rehearsals yesterday. I find it very frustrating because when you've been young and, you know, I have put my body through hell, as all dancers do. But it very, very rarely let me down. And as we get older, as amazing as aging is, it's the one thing, you know, things hurt. Things don't do what you tell them to do immediately.
He said exactly the same thing about flexibility.
Yeah, flexibility and even picking things up. Just that, like that mind-body connection, it's just a bit slower.
But then, how does it make you feel when something goes good?
Well, the thing is, for me, I love dancing, but not choreographed.
Right.
Because I find that a pressure and I find it get a little bit stiff. So we haven't talked about DJing yet. And if you want
I was going to say, that's where the music comes from, right?
Yeah. So, well, I started dancing when I was really little, like so many young people.
What, like 7, 8?
Yeah, just go to ballet, and some people stick with it, some people don't.
Well, you did it tiny weeny, didn't you? But then you couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
When your parents had split up.
Yeah, exactly. So
that must have been tough.
Yeah.
Like you loved it and you had to stop.
Yeah, I did it when I was really little, but probably too little to even
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously the changes happened, you know, mum and dad split up, and then, you know, they were both having to start again. So yeah, there was no money for dance classes. And I think I just nagged my mum constantly until she was like, okay, we settled. I think, we moved on. We were in a house and she was like, right, you can start dancing again. And yeah, I never looked back because, as much I liked school. I didn't love it, but I loved dancing school.
Yeah.
And I was a different person. I was very quiet because there's a very shy side to me as well. So at school, I was quite quiet, unless I was in the drama studio, with my mates, my like-minded people. Or if I was at dancing school, I was like very extrovert in that environment.
Because you felt confident.
Confident. And I was so confident in my ability.
Yeah.
I thought I was the bee's knees.
Can I tell you something? You were.
I wish I had the confidence now that I had then. I have to have a little chat with myself sometimes. I think...
Do you mean, by that, do you mean belief in yourself?
Yeah, I think belief in the... It's a funny one, isn't it? Because I'm very accepting of myself.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of myself. And I...
Good.
Some of the stuff I do, I'm like, I'm amazing.
Yeah.
Because I just go and do these things and I'm like, you just did that. And some stuff, it's petrifying. But
Like what? Tell me.
Just even starting to DJ,
Like,
learning a new skill. Like your first gig, right? You're a Spice Girl. You can't do it on the down low.
No.
All eyes are on you.
Yes.
So can you imagine being there with all of that technical equipment in front of you and everybody waiting to see how it's going to go down? That was scary.
Can I just say something? This is really helpful for us to hear, because you're saying it to me feeling like I'll just understand, but I've never been as famous as you were. Like it's next level, and I've struggled at times with starting new things or with my much smaller. This idea of you standing there thinking, I want to DJ, but I can't start here.
Mm-hmm.
When I first DJ somewhere, I have to be here because everybody's looking at you going, well, you're Melanie C.
Can you do it?
Can
Is
you?
she any good?
Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's slightly blown my mind. You get no chance to fail or be shit at something. Right?
Mm-hmm. I know. But
can I just say one thing? Yeah. Thank the Lord you're really bloody good.
Well, I'm still learning. 8 years, I still feel like a newbie.
So good.
Oh, thank you. I love it. That's the thing. I love it so much.
I think it's that what you bring.
Yeah.
It's like you bring the energy, man, when you play. It's like...
But you know what it's all from, right? So I discovered raving when I was about 19, when I was at college.
So funny because, again, you didn't do raving little.
Yeah.
Like, I was 14 raving. Like, you were 19. That's late.
I was 19 and I was discovering that world, that movement. And, I'd never seen or experienced anything like it.
What was it like for you?
Well, it was being a dancer as well. It was with all my dancer mates. So, like, dancing all night long, like people getting lost in the music in whatever state they were in.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Well, it's a drug.
It was...
Music and dancing is a drug.
Oh, my God.
You don't need drink.
Davina,
you don't need drugs.
You're going to love this. You're going to love this.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So...
Can I just tell you something? I'm having the best time.
I'm having such a lovely time.
Okay.
I was in New York last week.
Yeah.
I was asked to DJ at a sauna rave.
I saw it.
But it wasn't only a sauna rave, it was a sober sauna rave.
Oh, I didn't
Which
know.
you would have to be,
You'd
because
have to,
otherwise,
yes, bad. But everybody's in, like, swimming cozies.
Yeah.
It looked amazing. I'm coming to the next one.
I've decided I only ever want to DJ in saunas from now on. It was spiritual. Yes. It was incredible.
There's nowhere to hide.
Okay, we were in New York, right? We know what Americans can be like, right?
Yeah,
right. They get
they get right in there.
But for me, it was the closest experience I had in a dance environment to raving in like the early 90s.
Yes.
There was something just so
magic,
like together as one. The energy, and there was horn players, there was a bongo player, I had an MC, and it was a spiritual experience. It was amazing. And I come out high as a kite.
Yeah.
Just on the energy.
With nothing.
Yeah.
With
nothing. Water.
Yes.
Yeah. Electrolytes.
I think I've always called it the altar of the DJ. Like, I go to worship at the altar of the DJ. And when it is, you share your energy in a way that is so contagious. We get sprinkled with that energy. We all catch, and then you collectively have a room full of people on the same energetic, in the same energetic field as you.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's the most unifying thing. I mean, I talk about DJing now. It's brought me so much joy. And obviously, I still perform live music, with my band as well. And, I'll sing new stuff. I'll sing old hits. I'll sing Spice Girl songs. And just having that opportunity to bring so much joy to so many people, like, I'm getting double the fun now. I'm being greedy. I'm having it all. And it's amazing and it's wonderful. And it's really informed the new music that I'm making, because I wanted to make stuff that was much closer to what I play as a DJ, but also it's given me a very different perspective on music, making music and performing, and how it affects people. So yeah, I just feel like all of my worlds have all got a little bit closer.
Yeah, they're all colliding basically, aren't they? I mean, Sweat, let's talk about Sweat.
Yeah.
Interestingly, because I think I've read somewhere you were talking like, well, this is the closest that my new music has got to the Spice Girls, but I feel like it's more dirty than that. Like it's more clubby, vibey. Like I can't. It's more of like I've got like a move that would show you what I think your music's more like, but it's like, dirtier in a way.
Yeah,
better. Like I love. Not better than the Spice Girls, because Spice Girls are the Spice Girls. We can't ever touch that, but it's different.
Yeah, I think stylistically, definitely different. I think for me, it having the feel of the Spice Girls is the cheekiness of it.
Yes, the cheekiness. That's exactly
humour.
what it is.
And I feel like that's maybe what I'd been missing as a solo artist, because I also discovered making this record that who I am on stage is very different to who I am in a studio.
In what way?
In that when I'm writing and working with other songwriters and producers, I'm quite, not introvert, but maybe introspective,
okay.
And I'm a little bit quieter, and I'm not my big self, because this person who I am on stage is a much bigger, brasher version of me. And I was like, I've gone through my career making these records, and and I've had my moments where I've got out. I think anger's a great energy, like for creativity, and I've kind of got my confidence out in that way. But I wanted to have fun. I wanted to have more fun, and I felt like I needed that material to be able to do that on stage, to share that experience with people. So that is the difference I brought to this record as well.
The other thing that I feel with Sweat in particular, I think, is about how sexy you are. And I feel like owning your sexuality is a sign of great confidence. You feel like because it's not coming into yourself. You've always been yourself. You've always been true to yourself, but you just feel more confident in yourself.
Yeah, I think that was probably the area where I didn't feel comfortable.
Okay.
And even now, I wouldn't feel, everybody's different, right? We all express ourselves in different ways, but I don't feel comfortable being very sexual.
Right.
As a performer.
Yes.
But, so I shot the video for Sweat, and, I just felt like it was time. It was time for me to not hide my body.
But how did you? Were you like, okay, I'm going to get my body out? But you've often, cropped tops that had your legs out and stuff. We've always admired you for your fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have. I'm like you. I love being fit, and I love feeling fit, feeling strong. It helps me in every other area of my life.
100%.
So I'm always looking at you, going, wow, she looks like mega. But to be in your 50s and to look the way that you do and feel the way that you do, but then say, did you go in and kind of go, I am happy, I'd like to go a bit more? And was everybody like,
yeah.
Did you hear that?
No. Do you know what happened? I think, like, obviously I've shown, my body being a Spice Girl, whether it was getting my tummy out or, and it was so funny, isn't it, when you think back, because we were criticised for, like, encouraging young girls to wear crop tops.
Oh my God, hilarious.
Right? But I have been working with an incredible stylist who's also my creative director. And I just have so much faith in him. We just totally, we just see things very, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. And he has really helped me grow my confidence. And then with the aesthetic for this record, it's very much inspired by all the iconic fitness things that I've loved growing up, whether it was Flashdance.
Can I just say, I was like, I wonder if she's going to say Flashdance in my head. First one.
I had my
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
Yeah. But this is our childhood, isn't it? We grew up on this. But there were so many moments in it. I realised this has influenced me so much.
Yeah.
The Kids from Fame.
Yes.
Right? Olivia Newton-John, Let's Get Physical.
Yes.
Jane Fonda workouts.
Yes.
There's just a wealth of this, like, just iconic imagery. And so I kind of pulled upon all of that. And I didn't doubt for a second. I was like, I'm 51. I'm in amazing shape. And you know what? I'm going to show it. And I wouldn't have done that in my 20s or my 30s and probably not my 40s, to be honest. Yeah.
Isn't that a gift?
It really is. It's like so exhausting to be apologetic. Do you know what I mean? Yes. It's like I've spent so much of my life not feeling comfortable with certain things, and it's like, fuck that. That is the best thing about getting older.
For anyone that's watching that hasn't got there yet, what would you think has helped you? Because it's not necessarily about how muscly or thin you are or anything like that. I think it's an inside job. How can we feel at a place where we are happy with ourselves?
Yeah, I think we have to be truly honest.
Yes.
Not that honesty of, oh, I'm not good enough, or, oh, my parenting isn't, on point, or I should be making more money in my job. That isn't honest. Honest is, look at what you've done. Look at what you've achieved. Look at what you've overcome. Look at your failures and how you carried on from there.
Yeah.
How you picked yourself back up. That's what I had to do. I had to look back and just go, this is this other thing. Like when I felt at my lowest.
When was that?
I would say things got really difficult for me around the millennium. And then it's been a really long journey back. But after...
What was happening then? Do you mind me asking?
No, not at all. So obviously everything happened with the Spice Girls, and this was this unreal, incredible world. Obviously it was exhausting. We were living on adrenaline, traveling, dealing with the media, all of these different things. And within that time, I developed an eating disorder, and I was really ashamed of it, and I tried to hide it.
Did anybody know? Did you talk to anyone about it?
Well, people knew, and people within the band and within management tried to help. But I think, we know as adults, it's very hard to help somebody when they're not ready to help themselves. So I was very much in denial, carrying on until actually my body couldn't carry on anymore. And
how did that manifest itself?
So, well, I was underweight. I think for a long time through the Spice Girls, I was very restrictive in what I ate.
Is that called orthorexia? When you're being fit.
Sure,
you're being fit and you're eating, but you're...
Yeah, just not sustaining what you need. So that was definitely happening for me. I was very obsessive about exercise. But it was, there was so much going on. Our lives were kind of out of control. This was the only control that I had. Yeah. So I would be in the gym. And also I hate confrontation. And if I was in the gym, nobody would bother me. So it was very much my safe space. So I was doing that. I do not know how I was sustaining everything I had to do. But I was until...
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. And then I just felt very unwell. I was crying all the time. I was struggling to get out of bed. And then I started binge eating. And I think my body was just like, you need sustenance, But that to me was petrifying because I felt out of control. Sometimes I would kind of come around mid-binge and I was like, what am I doing? It was so scary. I thought I was losing my mind. And of course, my appearance was changing, and the thought of the media picking up on that was
They
another
were
thing.
brutal about the way that you looked
Yeah.
all the time. Everybody had an opinion.
Yeah. And it was cruel. It wasn't just an opinion, it was cruel. And they bullied me. And they used personal information of mine against me. It was horrific. So when I came back, I was in LA and I came back to the UK. So it was early 2000. And I went to my GP because I knew I wasn't right. And my mum was really worried about me. It was like, I've got to the point I can't handle it because I'm so independent.
Yeah.
I was like, I can fix me. I can sort this out. But I couldn't do it. So I went along to my GP and he said to me, after I described everything that was going on, and he said, well, the first thing we have to address is your depression. And that's when I just felt such a weight lifted from my shoulders because I was like, oh my God, it's got a name. You know, it's something that I can get help with and I can heal from. So that was like my first step on the road to recovery. It was a long fucking journey. And I think once you've experienced those things, you're frightened to be arrogant enough to think it will never happen again. But you're like, I'm confident, I'm in a good place. I have the tools. You know, there's been many times in my life, you know, I've had other bouts of depression. And I've taken medication. I've continued to have speaking therapies. But as time's gone on and I've done so much healing, I feel confident, but again, not arrogant to think that's me fixed.
I call myself a work in progress.
100%. We
Always work to do.
Always.
And discovering things on a weekly basis, which help me.
Yeah.
I mean, talking to you today's been so nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're using, I just want to talk a tiny bit more about the place where you've got to now, and hearing all of this, that journey since 2000, and here we are in 2025. You've gone on a long old journey, and you're making a video where you are a person that you've never been before, with a newfound confidence. For anybody that's in a dark place now, you know, it's like, don't try and do it alone, like get some help.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, for me personally, it was good to get professional help because, I sometimes felt like it was a burden. And I think it's really, really hard sometimes with family members, friends, people who love you because they're frightened to say the wrong thing. You know, so of course, lean on those people. They do love you. They want to support you. But I think that professional help, that outsider, it can be really powerful.
Yeah, life-changing.
Yeah.
So it sounds nice. You've got this creative kind of your creative. What do you call him?
My creative director.
Creative director.
Cruz, yes.
What's his name?
Graham Cruz.
Graham Cruz. Name check.
Yeah.
Well done, Graham. Whoop, whoop.
You would
Whoop,
love
whoop.
him. I feel like you should know him.
I know I would love him.
Oh my God.
I
everybody
probably
loves
do
him.
know him. Need to see a picture.
Yes.
Okay. But he and you have come up with this kind of concept. And is there kind of a theme behind it? Yeah.
Yeah. So it was never intentional. I've been writing for about 2.5 years. And I just realised there was quite a lot of fitness creeping into the work in this kind of tongue-in-cheek way where I was trying to bring a bit more humour.
Fun.
And yeah, and you know what? There's light and shade because in the past 2.5 years, I have ended a relationship. I have met somebody new.
Can't wait to talk about that. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I have new management and a lot has changed. So it's just been this kind of voyage of discovery.
Yeah.
And I am having, and also my new partner, what he has done for me is he's made me live. I'm such a workaholic, but I've always gone work, life. And then I realised it's like work, life. So, and I love my work. And, you know, of course, I'm a mum as well on top of everything. So what I've realised is, no. Work, life, all together. That felt like a little moment from like a Ben Stiller movie there.
But that is absolutely right.
Isn't it? Because I love my work. But before I didn't really have much of a life.
Yeah.
You know, I've been quite isolated and I've been quite lonely. But now it's like, no, I'm living every day, and I'm the happiest I've ever been, and the most creative I've ever been, the most confident I've ever been, and yeah.
Isn't it funny? Because in your 20s,
Ah,
you would have been going, I will not be saying that in my 50s.
oh no, oh my gosh! Like I think it's so funny when you see things.
Yeah.
I think there's even like interviews of going, oh God, like when you're in your 30s, you're like, oh, if only.
But no, not if only, because would you go back?
Hell no. And it's changing.
Yeah.
You know, here I am making music.
Yeah.
I'm in my 50s. There are so many incredible women who are, you know, we are still being taken seriously in areas that in the past, maybe not. So, yeah, we're still changing things.
I'm very interested in women with power. And I'm not just talking about money, really. I'm just talking about a sense of self or confidence, and how hard that is sometimes for a man to navigate, and how hard it is sometimes for women who are like that to meet men, and for men not to, for men to know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to slag off men. We love men. We want to live side by side, be partners, equals, like, but we know that it's quite difficult sometimes, because we've gone off and got careers,
all
and got
empowered.
all empowered, and
and left them a little bit confused.
yeah, but we need to kind of help them
yeah,
find themselves too, you know, so we can all come together. And,
absolutely.
and I feel like it's really difficult for guys to go out with women who are quite strong. How hard is it for you, Melanie C, when you found yourself at times single? Because who do you trust?
Yeah.
How do you meet a guy? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. It's been interesting. So, yeah, I was with my daughter's dad for 10 years. And then then I met somebody else. We were together for quite a while. And then I found myself single for the first time when it was all about the apps. And that is like a whole new world. But
just, you're Melanie C. Like, you can't go on an app. Like, imagine swiping. What?
Well, there's the one, isn't there? There's the one all the celebrities go on.
Right.
Yeah, there's that one.
So can I just ask you, so is Raya like, is it chock-a-block of celebrities? Do you have to kind of get like green lit to go on it?
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
It is. It's actually really good fun. Not that I ever want to be on it again.
Did you have it? There was I read somewhere, there was a really funny nickname that you and your friends had. It was...
Oh, boy bingo. But it's such a good thing. Don't you find, right? So, excuse me. If you find yourself single, right, you are like, never want a relationship ever again.
No.
I'm off men, forget it.
And I think women actually can do that. I think men can't as much.
Yeah,
I would have been happy to be a spinster.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah.
I just have a lot of cats.
But isn't it usually a girl's night?
Yeah.
When you're like, you need to get back on the horse, and then the apps, the profile set up.
Which is like euphemism. You need to get back on the horse.